We're concluding our long IFR cross-country flight, which started with the legs from Renton to Olympia, then on to McMinnville, where we currently are. For the full series, check out the page on our website linked here or in the description. You can play along with us on your own in the sim, or fly the real thing if you're nearby. We've landed at McMinnville and are getting ready to return home to Renton. Our flight plan is already on file, so we need to ask clearance for it. Let's start by deleting our flight plan in the GPS. Down at the hold short for runway 35, we're going to put clearance in 118.35, which we should be able to pick up from the ground here. Portland clearance, Skyhawk 518 Foxtrot Tango on the ground at McMinnville, request IFR to Renton. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, Portland clearance, clear to Renton Airport is filed, maintain 7000, departure on 126.0, squawk 3155. Clear to Renton is filed, maintain 7000, departure on 126.0, squawk 3155, and we're going to do the departure procedure off runway 35. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, read back correct and advise when number 1 and ready. So we get our flight plan entered into the GPS. We're going first to the Newburgh VOR. Recall that when we planned to do the departure procedure, which involves intercepting the 221 radial off of that, then going to the Battleground VOR, then joining Victor 287 back to the Olympia VOR. We'll need to put all the waypoints in for the airway. After Olympia, it's direct to Renton. We'll set the 221 radial on the number 2 VOR to help us fly inbound to that. The Garmin 530 does have a nice way for us to simulate the radial and navigate off that, but we're actually going to use the raw VOR data to fly this procedure. Let's let clearance know we're ready to go. Clearance 518 Foxtrot Tango, number 1 and ready at runway 35 McMinnville. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, you're released for departure, clearance void if not off by 2142 Zulu, time now 2132 Zulu. Release for departure, clearance void if not off by 2142. So we'll switch back to CTAF and put departure on standby. Quick departure brief here, we're going to fly runway heading and intercept the radial set on nav2. If we pass 4000 before reaching Newburgh, we'll continue en route because we'll be above the MEA for that airway. If not, we'll need to hold as we discussed in the first video. We'll announce on CTAF and head out. Once we're out of the pattern, we'll switch to departure and check in. Portland departure, Skyhawk 518 Foxtrot Tango, 1300 climbing 7000, flying the departure procedure off runway 35 at McMinnville. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, ident. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, your radar contact 3 miles north of McMinnville, Portland altimeter 3002. We intercept the radial and begin flying into Newburgh. We're well above the MEA for the first airway, so we can continue along, leveling off at 7000. When we reach Newburgh, we turn left and join Victor 287, which will take us back to the Olympia VOR. It's another long leg, so we're enjoying the scenery of the mountain peaks. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, contact Seattle Center on 124.2. 124.2, 518 Foxtrot Tango. Seattle Center, Skyhawk 518 Foxtrot Tango, 7000. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, Seattle Center, Kelso altimeter 3002. We'll be with Seattle Center until we reach the outskirts of the Tracon airspace for SeaTac. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, contact Seattle approach on 126.5. 126.5, 518 Foxtrot Tango. Seattle approach, Skyhawk 518 Foxtrot Tango, 7000. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, Seattle approach, Olympia altimeter 3002. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, turn right heading 010. Right heading 010, 518 Foxtrot Tango. We're being sent to the east side of the extended center lines of the runways at SeaTac. When we get there, we'll likely be handed off to the final controller for our approach back into Renton. Let's grab the ATIS back at Renton on 126.95. The visual approach is in use, but we want the RNAV to 3.4, so we'll request that when we get handed off. Since we're on vectors, we don't need our route anymore in the GPS, so we can go ahead and pull up the RNAV to 3.4 from Ligby, which is the feeder route from the southeast, and activate it. We still fly our 010 heading, but have the approach pulled up and ready. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, contact Seattle approach on 125.9er. 125.9er, 518 Foxtrot Tango. Seattle approach, Skyhawk 518 Foxtrot Tango 7000, request RNAV runway 34 approach from Ligby with Bravo. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, Seattle approach, turn right direct Zulod and join the RNAV 34 approach. Right direct Zulod, 518 Foxtrot Tango. So we'll go into our flight plan page and go direct to Zulad, getting to bypass Ligby altogether. Approach clearly wants us down at Renton and won't delay us. Let's brief the approach. We're going to join at Zulad, likely not doing the course reversal, but we'll need to coordinate that because in the absence of some instruction, we will need to do it. We fly into Fezla, the FAF, where we need to make a right turn onto the final approach course of 337. This is an LNAV only approach, so there's no vertical guidance. We'll be at 1600 at the FAF, and from there drop to 1100, and after Warwick, go to the MDA of 840. We'll get tower set up on 124.7 and ground 121.6 too. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, descend and maintain 5000. Descend and maintain 5000, 518 Foxtrot Tango. Approach wants to keep us below the arrivals at SeaTac as we cross the extended center lines. And as we get closer, they'll drop us down again. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, descend and maintain 3000. Descend and maintain 3000, 518 Foxtrot Tango. And finally, we get our approach clearance. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, you're a mile from Zulad, cross Zulad at or above 2600, cleared straight in, RNAV 34 approach. Zulad at or above 2600, cleared straight in, RNAV 34, 518 Foxtrot Tango. We're cleared straight in, so no course reversal needed. We cross Zulad and can then go down to 1600, where we stay until the FAF at Fezla. We have the vertical advisory glide path on this approach, so we'll follow it down, just making sure we don't bust altitudes on the way. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, contact Renton Tower. Over to Tower 518 Foxtrot Tango. Renton Tower, Skyhawk 518 Foxtrot Tango, RNAV 34. November 518 Foxtrot Tango, Renton Tower, runway 34, clear to land. Runway 34, clear to land, 518 Foxtrot Tango. At 8:40, we gain sight of the runway and bring it down to land. We've done it. We've completed the long IFR cross-country, flying over 250 miles on airways and routing with instrument approaches at each airport and 3 different kinds of approaches, having done an ILS, a VOR, and an RNAV approach. And we've become very good friends with our CFII in the process of this long flight, which clocks in just under 4 hours of Hobbs time. Have fun on your IFR cross-countries, and don't forget to check out Flight Insight for ground school and other training needs today.